Are you ready to take control of your finances and learn how to manage money without the constant hustle? Well, you are at the right place. This is your virtual bestie, Simran Adderley. Welcome back to the Rich Podcast, the show where we explore topics that inspire you, grow you, and make you the best version of yourself. Today, I'm joined with Cindy. She is a financial expert who helps women entrepreneurs master money management with ease and confidence. Welcome to the show, Cindy.
Thank you, Simran. I appreciate you having me here today.
Of course. Lovely having you here as well. And I'm super excited to talk all about finances and money. And I actually want to tell you a little bit about Cindy and how much she has accomplished and what her mission is in the world with her business as well. Cindy is a chartered professional accountant with 11 years of experience, including 3 at KPMG. Cindy helps women entrepreneurs grow their business by simplifying money management, proving that success doesn't require constant hustle. She's passionate about empowering women to feel confident and in control of their finances with clear, stress-free approach. Cindy's dedication goes beyond numbers. She truly cares about her clients' journey, their success, celebrate their wins, and support them through their challenges. Her mission is to inspire women to believe in themselves, think big, and embrace their full potential. It's amazing. I love that mission that you're on. I absolutely love that you're here to empower women, especially in such a male-dominant industry, and I love that for you.
Thank you, Simran.
Amazing. And before we delve into our topic today, which is simplifying money management, and give our listeners all about the tips, all about money and finances and how they can grow their business, I actually want to talk about your journey being an entrepreneur yourself, because you did mention that you were part of a corporate world before. So actually, let's take you back when you first started. What were some challenges and what was your transitionary period at that time?
I feel like my entrepreneurial journey was accidental. I honestly believed that I would climb the corporate ladder at KPMG and corporate world was going to be my life. But it quickly, spiraled. I just got burnt out and exhausted of the whole tax season grind every year. And I didn't feel good getting out of bed. I worked at 4 different firms thinking it was the firm and not the actual work or how accountants are supposed to be in their environment. So from KPMG, I went into an accounting manager role for a smaller firm. And it was the same thing. Everyone promises work-life balance, but when it comes tax time, like those tax returns need to get done regardless of what's going on in your life. And that was just like a wake-up call for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And, a lot of us who became business owners experienced that too, like trying to navigate through the challenges that we were experiencing, trying to have the work-life balance that we were all craving for. So I think I really want to bring up like certain challenges that you faced during that transition period that you went through from, having 9 to 5 and then having your own business. Now you have to have, a discipline, right? And then how did you tackle those challenges that were coming your way in a way that you don't have consistent money flowing in, right? You don't have that safety net. So what were the challenges that came at first when you first became a business owner?
I think just not knowing what you're doing. Like, I didn't know what I wanted to do. It was just like, I just wanted to educate women. Mm-hmm. So I just started posting accounting and tax tips on Instagram, and it just slowly grew from there.
Right. This is so relatable to, I'm sure, so many people, especially after 2020, because we saw like a surge of people becoming business owners, leaving their 9 to 5. They're looking for more of a very aligned career, where they feel like they are making an impact in the world. Is this something where it started for you as well?
Yeah, I really enjoyed like working with people and just like explaining like when someone starts up a business, what they need to do from like an accounting tax perspective, how to really get organized. And I just found a gap in the market. A lot of accountants are just focusing on tax filing purposes only, and they only talk to their clients once a year.
Right. And I do have a question for you on that. Like, how do we talk to our accountants on a daily basis? So I can't wait to delve into that. Was this after 2020 as well for you, or prior to that, you were already a business owner?
No. So I started my business about 2.5 years ago.
Wow, that's beautiful. I love that for you. That's amazing.
Thanks.
Absolutely. You mentioned that you are passionate about educating and empowering women entrepreneurs. What is one accomplishment that you would say you are particularly very proud of, that you've made an impact in the community with the work that you're doing today?
I think just creating a safe place for women to talk about their finances and not feel like afraid or ashamed. I was talking to this one client of mine. She's like mid 20s. She has her own lash artist business at her house, and she's working with like her parents' accountant, old uncle, telling her to get a real job and that her beauty business wasn't good enough.
Oh,
But she's
wow.
making over 100K and she's killing it.
Wow, good for her.
And
Yeah.
she just didn't feel understood. And I feel like a lot of women, they work with like male accountants or their family accountants. And there's a disconnect because that accountant doesn't understand their business. They don't understand the industry. They just can't connect with you as a woman.
Right. That is so true. And I love that. And it's also a very male dominant industry too,
Right.
on the accounting side, right? As well. So the fact that, especially already when you are a female business owner, you are facing a lot of challenges like gender bias.
Right.
And then you also have these traditional roles as well that you have the pressure on to follow.
Right.
You might be married or even at your own household that you might have to come back. We've seen our mothers firsthand, right? Working, coming back, still doing the traditional roles that they're doing. And then on top of that, this generation thinks we have these opportunities to build something of our own. And then someone older than us, we think we look up to, can tell us that too, right? Especially as a female, it just hurts a little bit more. So I'm glad that you're doing this work in the community and you're also empowering women and showing them, no, you're on the right track and you're boosting their confidence. I think it's much, much needed today.
Definitely needed.
Yeah. So let's delve right into the basics of financial literacy for business owners. I have so much to pick your brain on. For instance, let's say there is a female business owner who just started, right? What do you think are some essential steps that this person needs to take to build wealth, manage their finances, and have a solid grip on their money management skills?
I think the first thing is to just slow down. A lot of us, we dive deep into like getting sales, working with different coaches, investing all of this money. I think the biggest thing is to invest in your financial education first and understand your intention on why you want to run your business. It's so much more than money.
That's funny that you say that because before I understood the business, I've invested over $15,000 in like coaching,
Right.
taking multiple courses. And I felt like I really didn't understood like the basics of the skill at first either. It was like, these people are doing this.
Yeah.
Well, you just go out and put yourself out there on socials, which I think we can all do that. That's easy to come. But I think we're missing like the basic steps of why it's important, how to run a business, even on the financial side. I don't think so. We are aware of like what are the things to watch out for when it comes to starting a business. So I think like the number one thing I have a question for you is like, what is one thing that they need to understand? The one step that they need to make? Is it investing into a course when it comes to understanding the finances? So when you say investing into the financial literacy, right?
Right.
What is one thing that you need to look out for that you also know this is the right course for you?
I think just understanding, like, we talk to a lot of coaches and things like that in our different industries, but getting clear on, okay, they're going to teach me how to make sales, but what about my tax filing? What about setting up a separate business account? What about the legal side of having contracts and things like that?
Right.
Those are things we don't think about. And then
That is so true.
our personal finances and our business finances get all mixed up. And then a lot of people, when it comes tax time, you're just estimating numbers on a return. Just reaching out to an accountant at that time just to file your return, just because a family member or a friend told you, oh, you should be filing your taxes at this point. But
Right.
you don't even know what your tax filing date is.
Right. And do you think that's too late then at that point when they're finally reaching out to the accountant closer to the tax season? And they've been running the business for the last 1 year now.
I would say like from the beginning, make a checklist of what you need. So if you want to work a business coach, that's really fine. But also connect with like an accountant, a lawyer, understand how you need to structure things to protect yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll save you the time and money in the long run if you have all that foundation set up from the beginning.
Right. You know what? That actually rings a bell because when I first started my business and the first year I was super lost.
Yeah.
And I remember going to the same uncle to do my accounting. I still go to him, but
Yeah.
he's absolutely good at what he does. But I think like I have to ask the questions. It's usually I feel like if I'm going to an expert, he would tell me already. For me, I'm like, I found this information. Is this true? Or kind of like asking those similar questions again and again. So, what are the right questions to ask? I think maybe if you can like kind of mention like 2, 3 questions that we should be asking our accountant.
I think just first of all, like just go through Google and find different accountants, look at their websites, kind of look at what type of clients they work with. And then once you set up that meeting, go through like a list of questions with them, like have you worked with businesses like me? Do you offer more like financial strategy and like financial support other than tax returns?
Right.
When it comes tax time, what do I need to know in terms of write-offs? When do I need to connect with you so that we get our taxes filed on time? If I need additional support, is that something you offer? Can I book quarterly calls with you?
Right.
Just understanding, because the whole perception of working with an accountant is just filing taxes, and that's not true. An accountant can help you with your whole financial foundation. You just have to find the right person to work with.
That is very true. I know you also have your 4-week reset program. I think it would be so great for us to I think it's the right way to kind of delve into that aspect of like you having a program as well and you helping female business owners about that. So what is this program about? I know you mentioned it's for 4 weeks.
Right.
What is this program about and what can, people who sign up for this program can take away from this?
So like we just talked about having a good foundation from the beginning and just avoiding costly mistakes. I did a lot of one-on-one consults with business owners just starting up, and it would be the same questions over and over, or I'm bringing up the same kind of things. So I thought, why not just put it into a course so I can reach more women and just make an impact more.
Right.
So in 4 weeks, first week is all about like getting yourself organized. So like working through your mindset, where do these limiting beliefs about money really come from? And then getting yourself organized. So teaching you your key tax dates, your when you need to make your payments, setting up time in your calendar to work on your finances. And then week 2 goes into like tax write-offs. How do you know how much to save for taxes? I teach you how to do your own tax planning.
Wow.
And how to set up like a savings account, putting money away, how much money you need to put into that account. And then week 3 goes into like boosting your profits. So really looking at like how much money is coming in, how much is going out, breaking it down, going through like 3 months worth of bank statements, credit card statements, just getting really clear on where your money is actually going. And then I help you create like a profit plan. So like 50% paying yourself, 30% save for taxes, just really helping you set up for success. And then also helping you build like a personal and business budget as well.
That is a lot of information on that course. I'll definitely be looking into it more. And I'll be listing the link below as well in the podcast description below. So thank you so much that you're doing that. I think it's so important for not just females as well. I think for male business owners to know that too.
Right.
But I'm glad that you're doing this work in our community for female business owners. I do want to talk about you focus on making financial planning stress-free and straightforward. Can you walk us through a simple financial plan that listeners can start implementing today?
I think just really taking an audit of what's currently going on in your business. A lot of us have goals of like, I want to hit 500K. I feel like women have no problem making money. It's about actually keeping money in your bank account.
Right.
That's where the disconnect happens, because you're making a lot of money, but you're spending just as much. So really do an audit of your expenses. Like, are you paying for subscriptions that you signed up for, like trial versions that you forgot to cancel? Or maybe you thought you needed a subscription and then you just forgot to cancel. It's like just really doing an audit. Even for myself, I do this on a monthly basis. Like there's some like tax softwares and things, like I got like the best versions, and now I'm doing an audit for like next year's finances. And just like, I'm not even using all these features. Like, why am I spending an extra $1,000 on these subscriptions?
Right.
So those numbers can add up. If you can even look at the version of the subscription you have and you're not using everything, why not downgrade?
Right. I'm guilty of this.
Landlord.
I've had so many subscriptions before where I was not using them on a
Right.
regular basis. And funny thing is, this is actually by accident that happened to me a couple months ago. There was a fraud on my credit card
Oh no.
and somehow it got canceled. I know, oh no, but also at the same time, there were so many things I was thinking about, just, like deactivating the account or removing the subscriptions. And it just happened itself. And I was like, clean slate, I'm restarting this, but this doesn't always happen. So I love that you brought that up to kind of do an audit with what are some subscriptions that you are not really using on the regular basis. And I think we don't really think about it and they actually add up and they
Right.
are a business expense, right? At the end of the day, or, where the money that can be used on something else as well in terms of investment could be a course like
Right.
the one that you have, or, even within with your personal development as well, investing in yourself. So I think it's so important to kind of, we don't think about it, how
No.
these tiny things can really add up and pile up.
Yeah, and I would even recommend when you're going through your bank statements and seeing all transactions, just take a step back and be like, I'm paying for this. Like, is it actually helping my business? Am I getting a return on investment? Like, how is this helping me show up as a better business owner or making more money in my business? And if it's not, just remove it.
Yes. Straightforward. I love that.
Just simplify it.
Yes. Simplified. I love that. And I also want to talk about the mindset shifts here as well. How can entrepreneurs shift their mindset from viewing finances as overwhelming? Because let me tell you, sometimes we all think financial matters are very overwhelming and it can cause a lot of stress. How can we make that shift to see it as a tool for freedom?
That's a good question. And I get this all the time. Is just understanding like where does that belief really come from? Like, how did your parents view money? A lot of us see like taxes as a negative thing. It's like just because our parents complained about it, we have that narrative now too.
Very true. Yes, yes. Yeah. And then what would you say that, it's a self-talk at the end of the day? Is this one thing that you tell yourself when, I'm sure those limiting beliefs show up for you as well? Is there one thing that you tell yourself that was a mindset shift that you've implemented over time?
I've done like a lot of journaling over this because even for myself, like working 9 to 5, you have that comfort. But I was spending like all my paychecks. Like I had nothing saved up for starting a business.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's like I need financial advice. Like I'd rely on my dad. And it's just like when you start your business, like you don't have a steady paycheck. It's like the effort that you put in is what you're gonna get.
That is very true. Yes. You also actually, I want to switch some gears here.
Okay.
You also actually attended Alex Hormozi's workshop recently.
Yeah.
I actually want to talk a little bit about that because a lot of us are his fan and, the empire that he's built. How was it like attending his workshop and what was the key takeaway from that?
It was such an amazing experience. I'm so glad I went. I didn't know what to expect. I was like, I need to sign up for this and just go. And it was just very eye-opening. Like, I don't know why we're so scared of having conversations openly about money. Like, I went there, people were asking, like, how much money do you make a year? Like, what's your monthly revenue? And it's like, there's people doing $5 to $10 million. I'm in the same room with them.
Wow.
And it's just amazing. Like, I'm making less than them, but they're giving me advice. Like, what's your actual goal? Like, where do you want to get? Like, have you looked at this? Like, what problems are you dealing with that are holding you back from growing and scaling to that point? So I feel like just the people you surround yourself with, because a lot of women, like, we talk about beauty supplies, like, who do you go to for laser and things like that. But it's like, nobody's talking about, okay, like, I'm running my business, like, I'm making this much, like, would you recommend, or other, like, female entrepreneurs, like, talking about their businesses amongst each other. Like, I feel like we need to create more of an environment like that where women can openly talk about their finances and get advice and support from other women.
Yeah, that is so true, actually, because even like the narrative that's been going on growing up too, it's like you don't talk about finances or you don't openly ask someone how much you make. And then when someone does ask you openly, hey, how much do you make per month? You're like, wait a minute, why are you asking that question? So I love that, there was like an open, safe space too. And no one's making you feel bad about if you are making less than them or if you are making more than them. So I love that. And the fact that you're just like lifting them up. It's so true. The people that you surround yourself with, right? They can really have a good impact on you as well. So I'm glad that you're investing in yourself and you're boosting your confidence and you're just gonna go up from here even more. So love that for you. My other question for you, as business business owners grow and scale their business, I'm sure their financial needs and habits change as well. What are some key indicators that it's time to adjust your financial strategy?
I think just understanding that your business is going to grow as much as you do. So if you're not open to looking at your finances, being open minded, like you're not going to grow. A lot of us, we want to hit like six figures in our business. We're all heavily sales goals, making money, but we're not looking at how to build a solid foundation when it comes to actually managing that money. Like think of building a house. If you don't have a solid foundation, like that house isn't going to be there.
Very true. I think it's important that all of us, these courses should also be implemented in high school, like
Right,
as well. I think we weren't really taught. I know a lot of people will tell you, well, you should be curious about it, but sometimes you're so caught up with the pattern that you're in
Yeah.
that you don't even think about, like, I might need help in this as well. So I think these, financial matters and financial planning should be talked about a lot more, even with kids.
Right.
It actually makes me think like when I want to have kids one day and when I do have kids, I want to openly talk about the financial planning and them being curious about it too. So they understand it. They actually know the basics of it too and the principles.
Totally.
So yeah. What's your take on that?
I totally agree. I feel like we should have been taught it. I'm actually reaching out to like different beauty schools and like different professional programs because it's like you learn the day to day, but nobody's teaching you the financial side of running a business or even setting it up.
Right.
And then even tax advice, like there's so much misinformation we hear from friends and family, or we're just Googling it, we're looking at Zari's website, we just feel overwhelmed and lost. So you just want to find like the right type of support, and I'm trying to be that for people.
Yeah, that is beautiful. You also emphasize that success doesn't really require working full time, right? And then when you're first starting out, you're overwhelmed.
Yeah.
You don't have boundaries in the beginning. I know I went through this myself. How do you think, some tips that you can share today? How do you help entrepreneurs find balance between running a business and living a fulfilling life?
That's such a great question. I'm still working.
Love the honesty.
But I think it's just coming down to realizing what's important to you.
Yeah.
And even in your business, like what's your like mission? What's your vision with it? If you're stuck running like the day to day and your business can't run without you, it's time to realize that like you're not the CEO of your business. Like you really need support and help. And I know a lot of business owners are going to say they can't afford to hire help. They're barely paying themselves. And it's just like do an audit of like your time, figure out where you're spending the most time in your business, and like move away from that all or nothing mindset. Like maybe you can't hire a full-time employee, but can you hire someone for 4 to 5 hours a week just to help you with that admin side so that your business can continue running when you have like personal emergencies or you're going out on a vacation? Like just because you're not working in the business, it doesn't mean that income and your whole business just shuts off.
Yeah, absolutely. And you did mention that, you're still a work in progress when it comes to building those habits as well. But are there a few habits that you can kind of share with us or strategies that you perhaps use in your business or maybe you recommend other business owners to implement or adopt to achieve success without burnout?
I think time blocking is huge. I learned this from Biz Lane.
Yes.
And it's just like every Sunday I sit down, I put my workouts in first and what's important
Yes.
and what I need to get done for that week. And then everything else just comes after. So really just taking care of yourself and doing what feels good to you. For me, like I used to go to the gym alone. I worked from home alone. It just got very lonely and I was just like, I can't do this. I enjoy working out, but I want to be in like a group kind of environment. So then I just signed up for F45 in Langley. I drive out 30 minutes every morning and it feels good.
Yeah.
Just figuring out what you enjoy doing and trying to implement that in your schedule.
Yeah, for sure. I also enjoy the flexibility part as well that, with being a business owner, at least like midday,
Yeah.
you can go to the gym or go for a quick walk and come back, so I love that. The little habits do add up.
They do.
And you also touched on a very important part. And I think for most of us, this is something I can talk about myself too. I was working from home during COVID, and I remember the transitionary period of becoming a business owner. It was very lonely because I was also doing everything from home at that point too. So I felt very stressed out, not connected as much. But when I started to put myself out there again, started attending events or going to a cafe or going to a different office to work from or co-working with someone, that really helped too. And I think
Right.
we don't realize it how important it is because it can get very comfortable working from home, which we do enjoy time to time.
Yeah.
But just getting out of the house or having a structure,
Changing your environment
is huge. So glad that you mentioned that.
Yeah. Another thing I learned from Alex Hormozi was he was saying to be more efficient, schedule your day from the end of it to the beginning. So if you have meetings and your day ends at like 5, like schedule that first meeting from 4 to 5. That way, the mornings up until those kind of meetings, you have to yourself to actually work on the business and do the things that matter. Otherwise, if you schedule meetings like midday and then you're trying to get back into your work after that, it just becomes harder and you're so inefficient.
Oh my God, that is so true.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure. I'm definitely taking that tip away. A few more questions for you before we wrap up here. What mindset shifts have you noticed that are crucial for women entrepreneurs to thrive in business, particularly around money? Is there one that was pivotal for you?
I think just from moving away from like that victim kind of mindset, like I was never taught this in school. My family doesn't talk about money. There's nobody as entrepreneurs in my family or my friend circle. Like it's lonely. I can't do this. Even when people start businesses, like who's gonna pay me to do this service? Like you're gonna get the type of energy you put out there. So like even when you post on social media, like you should be in a good headspace and your intention is to educate and empower people. So show up like that. Even when like you have your client meetings or you're even sending proposals, like be grateful for that client signing up for you. Just say like thank you so and so for signing up. Like I'm looking forward to helping you and making a difference in your life. Just little things.
Yeah. Oh, that's
And
so
I think
sweet.
that
I love
energy
it.
shifts.
Yes, it definitely does. It definitely does because it does get lonely and like, just being able to connect and
Yeah.
the energy that you're putting out is the one that you receive back. It goes a long way.
It does.
So true. So freaking true. And a few more questions for you. What are some actionable steps that women business owners can take today to feel more empowered financially? I know you talk so much about it, feeling empowered and like some tips. What is one thing that they can implement starting right now?
I think the biggest key takeaway is the audit of your monthly bank and credit card statements. If there's one thing you can take away from today, it's just getting a handle of what's going on with your money.
Right.
And then from that, you can make better decisions.
Absolutely. One last question for you that asks all my guests. What inspires and motivates you every single day?
I feel like the women I work with, like they're so passionate. They're moms. They're running their businesses. They're hustling. Like just being a part of their journey. Like I'll think of ideas for their businesses or I'm scrolling social media, I'm sending them stuff, like I'll check in with them because I want them to succeed. I want them to grow and I just want to be a part of it. So even like when they have events or things like that, I'll be there.
Yeah, that is so beautiful. And I see that drive in you. I see the passion, even the information that you put out there that you give freely, even like the counts that you support. I sometimes will look at the count myself when I go on your stories and I will like, for instance, last night, you mentioned that this woman owns about 90
plus rental properties. Yeah.
That is amazing and good for her. So I absolutely love that. And we can see it in your work as well. So thank you for doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for coming here today, Cindy. I had so much fun recording this episode with you. I took away so much from our conversation today. And also, I'm sure our listeners will be taking away so much as well from auditing their finances and also learning how to manage their money. And if they're first starting out their business, they will know exactly who to reach out and also the things that they need to do at first so they're not lost. So I appreciate your time today.
Thank you for having me here today. I'm so grateful for having an opportunity to just talk about finances and normalizing it for women.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in, Enrich Community. Make sure you give Cindy a follow. I will list her socials below as well. And if you're planning to work with her one-on-one, make sure to reach out and give us a follow as well. And make sure you give a like to this video, share this video with someone that you truly care about. And please coming back. We love that you keep coming back. And I'm sending you a lot of love and positive vibes. Take care. See you next time.